There's quite a number of people coming and joining us. Thank you very much. And what I wanted to do was talk to you today about academic writing, academic thinking. What does that mean? So it means to think about what you're going to write. If you have ever tried to read an academic paper or tried to write something about your thinking, your science, some school project, an idea that you wanted to do, this is not something that comes very naturally to some people. And it is a very special way of writing. You cannot write it like you are writing to your friends. You cannot say things like, for example, I want to express my idea, what I think. It's not about you. Academic writing is about what other people think and what other people have written before. And you need to comment to that. So today we will be looking at different types of ways of thinking about this. So did you ever wonder how people actually start the process? When you see a big paper and you think, oh, how did they actually start that idea? How did they transfer, transport, exchange, share one idea to another type of thinking? So when you talk about academic writing, you are looking at different ways of transferring your ideas about something that you might have discovered. So you need to explain to somebody how you did that. Now, this is very obvious to you. You can understand it, but you need to share this idea with other people. This is not so easy. So how do we understand each other? What is each other's ideas? So this is very important. So how do we get to understand if those people can read and comprehend and repeat what we have shown them? So this is a little bit about how to share these new ideas that you might be thinking about. So interaction, right? So interaction. So your little ideas, how to create a bigger impact, how to make your ideas expand in a way that other people can understand. So in the next 2 hours, I'm going to actually show you and discuss with you step by step, step by step. Okay, so this is very important. What do we mean by step by step? Because as I said in the earlier here, we said thinking, systems and design thinking. So what does that mean? Okay, so what do we think about that? So starting step by step. All right, I want to start step by step, right? Step by step. And then I want to look at understanding definitions. So starting with step by step, we are going to talk about systems. And now the difference between system and systematic, there is 2 different ways. System is what connects things, what's in between. So what is between one thinking and one idea and one thinking and another idea, they come together and we think about the thing in the middle. This is a system, this is connection, okay? But step by step by step is systematic. That's systematic, okay? So systematic means taking it and thinking and building a structure, an outline. So it's about how we put something together. It's about a plan, an outline, and taking the steps, how to do that. So this exercise here, what I want you to do is, this is exercise 1 here. So I want you to take your pens. So you should have sort of like different colored pens. You should have a green one. And green, as you can see, is for science. And the systems design is pink. And then you have arts for orange and engineering for blue. So you take those 4 colored pens. And for the exercise, I want you to then think about the definition, and it's about keywords. Now the keyword is about how to make the step-by-step to begin the process. So you have an idea or you're thinking about something. So if you have the definition and you have the definition of the different, the handout that you all got. I hope you got the handout. Yes, so thinking about science and the definition for science on your handout, you can see the definition, right? What is science? Science is an understanding of nature and the behavior. It is, you can see on the handout that the science, design, and arts are 4 different types of definitions. So we are thinking about what is science, what is design, what is arts, and what is engineering. So what I want you to do is I want you to do 3 keywords for each: science, which is, we said, green, design, systems design, pink, and 3 keywords for arts, and 3 keywords for engineering. All right, so these are the 3 colors, right? So I want you to write 3 keywords, each person. Now write down your 3 keywords. You can do it in Chinese or English or both. If you're very clever, you can do both. And I want you to hold on to those because you will need those keywords. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to think of a keyword about science, a keyword about systems design, a keywords about arts, and keywords of engineering. Now, on your piece of paper, you have the definition. So have a look at the definitions. I asked you to read that already so that you will be prepared. But just to remind you, science is the biology, the art, and arts is design. Design systems is about the different types of connections. Arts is like fine arts, drawing, creativity, and engineering is the building. So you have the quick definitions there. So I'd like you to have a look at that, please. So biology, chemistry, and earth sciences is science. So have a look at your definitions now, and I'll give you a few minutes to write down your 12 keywords. So have a think about that. And during this course, we will move quite quickly. So don't worry if you can't get all of the exercise done. Just try to do your best and think about the 4 different things so that you start thinking about different ideas. And so we'll just give a few more minutes to that. Okay. And maybe just try to do 1 word for each if you can only think of 1 word. Something that is like from science, something that is from systems design, something from arts, and something from engineering. Some keywords, and you'll understand why keywords are so important. So I'm going to move quite quickly because we do want to keep up for, we have 8 different sections to follow, so we'll just keep going.
大家互动一下，如果写完了之后呢，可以把这个纸啊稍微的，okay, my camera is here. So yeah, something like that. It's not needs to be very, you know, smart. You know, sometimes yeah, I'm not smart. I just following what I'm thinking. So just write down something. You know, you think about these 4 parts in different colors. Very, very, you know, simple. You don't need to very complicated. 如果写好之后，请大家把那个camera 打开，互动一下。Yes, good. 因为我们接下来会很多的互动。Great.
You can see them?
I can see some. Yeah, it's good.
Good. Good.很好. This is what you call tag team teaching.
So please interactive. We need the interact with each other.
Yeah, this is good. Like sciences, technology, imagination tools.
Like a play.
Something like this. Okay, systems design might be sharing or crossover or circular, for example, or something like this. So systems design is like connections. Arts would be like drawing or singing or dance, for example. And engineering would be like electrical, building, roads, for example. That's engineering. Engineering is a very vast topic. Okay, so we do want to keep moving. So if you've got your keywords, that's really good. Even if you've only got 4, but 1 in each, or 3 if you can manage. Okay, so this is a good example. All right. Looking at section 2, so we are looking at, looking back here, you can see, right? All right, so has everybody?
We can see, okay.
Okay, so can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So section 2, you can see the academic writing process and thinking. So academic writing, and this is a more difficult words and concept. So it's about the systems thinking processes, a process, many step by step, and interconnection and different thinking. So we all know what writing is. We know how to write. Everybody knows how to write, okay? But what about academic writing and thinking? It is about imagination, actually. It is about regulation. It's about many different approaches that you have to pull together to make something clear to another person. So this is what we're thinking about in session 2. We're thinking about the actual writing. So in session 2, we are thinking about the academic way and the different points to follow. So be very clear. Don't talk and write and say, and go off in different directions. You have to be really quite clear when you do and focus. Okay, so here you need to be very, very clear and very, very focused on your topic. You need to focus on your topic. But to get there, you need to actually think about what are the keywords, how to start that process. So have a plan. So you need to have a plan. You need to have a structure. This word here is structure. You need to have a plan and a structure so that you can build your story or your approach step by step by step. Okay, so this is very important. So you need to have a structure, so some idea. So here we use material that other people have researched. Okay, so you need to have evidence base. So you have to really look at some other reading. You have to look at other people's writing. What have they done? How did they get there? What way did they do that? So you have to ask questions. So a lot of academic writing is about asking questions. I ask you a question. Yes, we do want to say what we wrote to you, but it is about keywords, like as in keywords here, key points, but it's also about questions. So you need to ask good questions. And the only way to do that is understand this real evidence material. Where did this idea come from? Who did the work for this idea? These are very good questions. And formal language. So you need to sort of say, talk about the idea. You need to talk about where the idea came from. You cannot talk about, oh, I think my friend thinks this, my friends think this. This is not formal. So it needs to be very formal, the way in which you approach your language. You cannot talk about, I think this and I think that, unless you can actually say the evidence, okay? So because of the evidence, you need to write in a formal way. So that's really kind of important, all right? So that's very important in terms of doing that. So academic writing and the possible mistakes you can do, and this is kind of like the mistakes you could possibly make, is, you know, when you write academic way, there are key things not to do, right? The key things not to do. The first one is like, don't use so many words that and the idea becomes too complicated and you can't understand. So it needs to be very, very clear, and you need to be very, very step-by-step precise. So this is why, like I said here, using formal language and trying to make a clear here outline, very clear outline, helps you. So you don't do too many words and become messy, complicated, okay? So the understanding is not mama hoho, okay? So here is the links, the link. So when you have one idea and another idea and you bring them together, so that the link of is a strong link, a good link, not sort of miss and make it difficult for people to comprehend and read it. So this has to be very clear too. Also using the formal tone, again, the formal tone is very important because it is about academic writing and thinking, and the systematic way of doing it step by step is about using a formal tone so that you can talk about any idea. It's not your idea, it's any idea related to the way you think. So this is kind of a difficult one for some people to understand. So not showing where the ideas came from, citations. So if you don't talk about where the idea came from, this one is so important, really, really important. If you do not understand, where did this idea come from? Where did it come from? Well, then I don't know what to think because I don't know where that idea came from. So you must be very, very clear. Where did that idea come from? Okay, that's very important for academic writing or academic writing. Okay, so that's very critical. So exercise 2, we are looking at a short story. Okay, so you can see the short story here, I hope. So can you read this? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to read this. So a flock of geese, and maybe Jeff, do you want to read it in Chinese maybe?
Okay. I think that, yeah, people can read.
Yes, I'm sure.
A story.
It's quite clear, right?
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Okay, so you can see, all right? So this is a fun little story that I got from the Guardian newspaper on April the 3rd about geese, and it's about lockdown. So as you know, I think everybody knows about lockdown. Everybody experienced this. So we are all together in this process. So I thought I would use this little story. It's very funny. Critters. I'm very interested. How did you translate critters?
小动物. It's little animals.
little animals, yeah. So, okay, this is a fun story. All right, so it's quite beautiful. These geese are just walking around, enjoying life, walking down the street, no one to bother them. So it's quite funny. Okay, so in this exercise, you can see, I think everybody read the story now. So here in exercise 2, I want you to explain basic idea. So it's very basic. It's only maybe 10 words, maybe 8 to 10, and then 10 to 15, no more. Keep it short and concise. In Chinese, you are lucky because it's even less, I think. And first of all, I want you to explain the basic idea. So here we have the whole story. This is the whole story. But what is the basic idea in a very short sentence, okay? Try to do that. What is the basic idea? Please have a go and write that down now. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. That's all.
So these exercises are based on the story?
Yeah, they're based on the story.
That story, okay.
Yes, this story here.
Okay.
So try to summarize that in one sentence. Yeah.
我们用一句话来概括一下，因为这个是给我们的中学生、高中生准备的，所以大家踊跃参与啊。这个即便是成年人的话，就是我们来理解一下整个这个 scientific paper 到底是怎么来写的，是一个非常 academic 的教授给大家讲非常简单的步骤，所以请大家务必稍微动动手，互相的参与，其实不需要太难。像一个讲故事的这个方式就可以，所以一起来这个互动一下。
Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
This is a new experience, isn't it? Teaching in tandem via Zoom.
我们可以在互动的那个 chat 里面，不要写在不要写在这个 PPT 上面，因为人比较多。我们到这个就是 chat 里面Okay, Chen Jie said, men give way to little animals. I think it's great.
That's beautiful. That's
yes.
Very concise. That's a wonderful example. Men give way to little animals. Perfect, right? That's a very good way to start an academic idea. All right? So you understand the premise now. You understand the basic. That's beautiful. Thank you for that. And so the next one I want you to try, because I think you're very clever. So I've put in quite a number of different exercises for each session, because the sessions I keep short for a reason, to push you to think faster. Okay, so what are the key words? So this time I want something like, I want 6 to maybe 10 or 12 keywords. All right? Keywords for this story, the keywords for this story, just like you did before. But I want you to, and also, if you can think of the 4 colors, try to do like science, design, arts, and engineering. See if you can think of how this relates, if there's any relation. All right. If you can't think of the relation, that's okay. But try to think of the relationship of the science, design, arts, and engineering to this story, and write down some keywords.
现在呢，这个是叫 keywords， 就是我们的关键词。刚才呢是一句话的一个概括，有点像 abstract 这样。那现在呢是关键词 keywords。那 keywords 的话，在这里面大家看到了有几个关键词，然后用不同的颜色，我们刚才说 science、art 等等 ，design 等等不同的颜色去来表达它。所以大家花点时间，keywords 就是一个单词或者是2个词。
谢谢。
可以把这个拍照拍完了之后放到微信群里面，也可以写在这里。OK。
Okay. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
So yeah, the keywords from this article. So we try find 4 keywords from different perspectives, from the art, from the design, from science, and from engineering.
Yeah. So, and also try to be 6 to 12, because if you can get more, that's great, but no more than 12. That's too many. Try to maybe make it 8's a good number. 6 to 8. Okay. So if you can do that, that's very good. And then I'll explain what we just did.
And Susu, you can make the slide full screen.
You can make the full screen?
Yeah, I mean,
you just play it. You can just play it. I think words.
You need to put one single slide to be full screen.
Really? For this one? Or
you can push the menu, view menu.
Yeah, but why I wanted it this way is because I like to jump backwards and forwards sometimes. Okay. So that's kind of why I do it that way. Sorry, it's just annoying teaching technique, especially for Zoom when you have different complex ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we said before here, a short story. Now we now have like one quick line, one sentence, and now we have keywords. Because of the step-by-step process that we wanted to do, these were the step-by-step. We wanted to be clear. We want to have a plan or an outline. We want to have the basic evidence, and we want to use formal language. So the example of man makes way for small creatures is beautiful because this is very formal. It was based on the written work that we did. You had a plan and a structure, and the topic is very clear. Now, if you were going to write a paper about animals in the 21st century lockdown, you can now begin your evidence. You're using the evidence, which was, man makes way for animals. And this could be an idea that you start to develop. You start to maybe collect information from all over the world about different experiences. So this is the step-by-step process that you begin to write that process up. Okay, so thank you for that. That was very well done. I hope you have your keywords there ready because we will use these keywords next. Okay, so moving on. Here we are in session 3. So in session 3, we will tell you who are you going to tell your ideas to. Now this is very important. This is like audience. I guess this is audience, the translation for audience here. So who is listening and who is your audience? You have to think about who this is. Who will read your article? Who do you want to tell the idea to? If you don't think of this, your message will not be clear. Okay, so it's very important that you think about who is listening and who is the audience. So how do I want to share? Who do I share my ideas with? You notice that I'm asking questions. Questions are important because questions help you understand what your keywords are, how to make your short statements clear, and then you start to ask the questions. From this information, you start to ask questions. So this is something that you must do these things. So the idea that we want to share, who do we want to share with? Who do we want to share with? And so this is a bit of an idea about how to share. What do we do when we want to share this information? Very important. So here in session 3, who will you tell your ideas to? So who do you tell your ideas to? It is always good to have some key points when you want to share your ideas, which is what we just did. We just did this whole idea for this process. We just did that. So the idea is that we just did that. We just did a kind of a plan. Then we did an outline. We thought about the types of words, okay? The types of words here. The language, remember being formal. So the example of man makes way for small creatures. And focus your idea. Focus. So this is what we were practicing. We were practicing focusing. Focusing your idea. And then how to share is the next approach. So how do we do that approach? All right. So this is kind of a very clear outline that you want when you're doing writing. So you want to have a plan. You want to have an outline. So an outline's a little bit different from a plan. A plan is like I have this plan, I have this big idea, but an outline is like what we just did for this exercise here. This is what a plan is. So a plan is this. The outline is about making it concise. So the outline is, I want to write about animals in lockdown. And so this is what you do. All right. So is this clear? This is a very good, simple outline for anyone actually doing academic writing. This is actually for anybody, even in university, they should follow this. So it's quite important steps. All right. So in session 3, who you tell your ideas to. So we will have an exercise. So using the keywords from session 2, so you had keywords from session 2, right? Make a short sentence to ask interesting questions about science and art. So you have to have science and art mixed together, or you can have design and engineering question mixed together. All right, so you have to have those two mixed together or these two mixed together. So make a short sentence using the keywords from the session we just did, and make a short sentence about an interesting question you want to ask. What is an interesting question you would like to ask? Something that you would be interested in doing. Just try to do that now. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes, and Jeff can just quickly explain that in Chinese as well. Thank you.
所以呢，现在第三部分我们就是要开始找一个对象，就是我们讲给谁听。那么现在呢，就是用我们刚才4个不同的这个词语关键词来组合一个句子。这个句子呢，您可以选择其中一个吧。第一个呢是科学与艺术的问题，我们分成4个不同的种类嘛。那么找到这2个方面的词，把它这个形成一个句子啊，其实非常简单，就像我们小学生在做的这个作业一样。但是就是要把这个逻辑把它给串联起来，或者是设计与工程的问题啊，大家可以在那个互动群里面、交换群里面可以互动一下。
Okay, so an example might be something with science and arts. I might say something like, I would like to view science project from an artistic perspective. I might try to, this might be the idea, and then a sentence to quickly look at this would be something like, a biological system through drawing would be of great interest to me. This might be something that you might want to combine, something like that, 2 things together. Or you could do design and engineering. So try to think of a sentence that's concise, and even though it's your idea, just remember to try to be like an informal language as well. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and Jeff can tell me if anybody manages to do this.
Yeah, I think we come up with some good examples. There's one question about how can we design a space for the animal after the lockdown in the cities?
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's great.
Exactly. So what 2 things are involved in that? So what science and art or design and engineering, what was their combination? Or they just thought of the sentence?
I think this is just a sentence.
Yeah, but we can ask the question.
Okay.
We can ask it. So perhaps like that could be a systemic design question and engineering, because it's building. I also think it comes a little bit of science as well. So maybe all 3. So this is the thing. When you ask us a question, then you've got to go back. So do you have another question?
Any other questions?
Not yet. So the idea is that when you ask a question, you then have to start thinking step by step, where does that question take you? So it's not just a question, It's a question to take you to your next step about how you're going to write a process. So you see how I'm playing with keywords, the topic, and you keep going backwards and forwards. This is academic writing. It's a lot of kind of asking a question and then thinking of the connection. Ask the question, then think of the connection. Ask the question, then think of the connections. And then you start the process again. So it continues and continues until you can get some nice piece of work that is connected. Very important to connect the idea. And so if you ask that question, then you would look up many articles about animals in lockdown, for example. Okay. I don't want to fall behind, so I'll give you a couple of, maybe another minute, and then this is just for you to go through your exercise. If you didn't get through and you didn't write a sentence, try to do it later on yourself, okay? Right, so in session 4, why do I share my ideas? You think, oh, well, that's obvious. I want to just share my ideas. No, really, you really need to ask this question. What is your purpose? Why are you doing this? These are kind of questions you think, oh, why do I need to ask that? Because my teacher told me to write something. No, that's not the reason. The reason is, why does this interest you? What is the purpose? So what are you trying? Why are you doing this? So we can have fun with new ideas and talking about them. So if you're in Fab Lab, for example, and you're in Fab Lab in the Fab Academy, and you have an idea, but you didn't share it, or you just think of the idea, but then you want to write it for other people to read about and start thinking so that they can have some ideas, all right? So there is a reason why you do this. There's a purpose. The purpose is something you should ask the question a little bit. And why are you doing this? So why do I share my written words with you? So it's important to understand why you actually do this, and because for some it's a little bit different. For in science, it's a little bit different from systems design, and arts is a little bit different from engineering. Engineering is usually to show people how to build something or show how it works. For arts, it can be something that people can admire or they want to have a discussion. For systems design, it can be about how things, why things come together and what's the connections. And science, with biology or ecology or these types of questions, it's also about the world around us. So science is a question about the world around us. So these are the different purposes and why you might find that your questions or your ideas that you want to discuss, they come under a different category. So this is, it seems like a funny question to ask, but it helps you focus your writing very clearly as to what to do next. It's a good idea to ask this question for yourself so that you can then be clear to other people. So in session 4, why do I share my ideas is a game. And I think you should be very good at this. Okay, so we have fun thinking of new ideas, like in Fab Lab and Fab Academy, Fabo. They have wonderful fun thinking of new ideas, as you can see from the videos. So about what, so sharing those and talking about them. So this is an exercise. I'm going to just ask a question. The question is, what if I don't speak your language, right? So what if I want to share an idea? This is just a game, okay? This is a game. This is a game. So what if I don't share, I don't speak? What if I can't speak at all? What if I can't speak? What if I can't hear? Okay, so maybe there are different reasons why I can't speak your language. Okay, many different reasons. It's not just that because my Chinese is, boha. It's no, it could be many reasons why. So I want you to use your emoji or any symbol that you can think of. You can use your phone to draw a sentence without words. So you have to put something together. So a symbol like Egyptian hieroglyphics, looking geese on the street, looking for food, that's the first one. And geese being happy on the streets with no people. So see if you can do 2 sentences without words, doing symbols. This one I will give you a little bit of time because you need a bit of time to do this one. Okay. I have to give you at least, 5 minutes to do this one. Yeah.
所以呢，第4部分的一个小练习呢，就是大家就是给了2个句子，这2个句子呢，如果说不懂中文的情况下，或者是我们跟不懂中文的这个人去表达的时候，说中文肯定或者是文字肯定是不懂的。那我们现在这个练习呢，就是怎么可以用不同的符号来表现啊？我们看到群里面已经有一个互动了，就是类似这样的这种表达，怎么用一些 graphic 的方式来表现，就是你不用知道这个文字后面的这个隐藏的意义，它就可以很清晰的表达出来。It's fun. It looks really nice. Yeah.
So see how I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, okay? See how they go, Jeff. See what you come up with.
It's great. This it's in the chat group. You can see. One use V to represent the goose, and it's like a smiling face. Yeah, if you click on the chat, you will see that.
Okay, on the chat.
Yeah.
So bizarre. For some reason, it's not showing up. It should show up.
Chat in the I think in the main bar, if you see it, share chat, or if you go to the option, then you will see the chat.
Okay. My chat. Okay.
Or I just click the windows for you in the WeChat, so you can see that.
So it's okay. I've got it up here. Okay. Okay, yes, quite some interesting ones. So it's quite difficult because geese on the street looking good and geese being happy to be on the street with no people is quite difficult. But see how people can come up with things. That's quite good. Zin is it? Zin, so that's a very nice one. That's a very nice one, actually. So what I'm trying to get across here is about sequence. What I'm trying to do is to get you to think about data and creating sequence data, because this is the very, very basics of what you can do later on for algorithms and all sorts of ideas that you can put together for academic writing. Because in terms of writing, you need to come up with your own way of thinking and analysis. So this is, Jeff, you can translate to make sure they understand analysis. And so this idea is about teaching people about sequencing, analysis, and the fundamental thinking about algorithms and things like that.
所以呢，这一部分的内容呢，主要是说，是我们写作的一个顺序，还有呢，就是 algorithm 呢是一种 算法的表达，就是我们在写作的时候啊，需要有这样的一种顺序啊，主要是这几点。
So we do this because we need to do model creations, and when we do academic writing, we often have to think about how to structure, to organize, to create our thinking in different ways. So it's very important to understand how to build a model and doing step by step about your thinking and writing. So you might need these skills. So these are just games to learn how to play with these ideas. So I think everybody's got some good ones. I really like some of them. Some of them are very clever. Okay. All right. So I think we can go on.
Yep.
Yep. So okay. So section 5. I want others to understand me. So in terms of academic writing, this is about structure. This is definitely about structure and organization. So structure and organization. As you can see, academic writing is really like organized. It's really super organized. You need to be really organized when you're putting it together. So how to have different thinking about it and how to enjoy it, because you will need these sort of different key elements when you're starting to do your own work. And this is just an introduction, this course. So looking at the structure and the organization, because I want other people to understand me. I want them to understand what I'm saying. So sometimes we have so many ideas that they get mixed up. And this can happen a lot when you start to really start writing 10 pages, you start writing and it can really your ideas get mixed up. It's not clear. All right. So how to think in a clear way and produce your work. So sometimes because of the idea that there's just too many ideas, they get mixed up. And so you need to have a way to organize things. So how to organize that? This is really important. Okay. So here, I'm going to give you, now we've got a little bit of time, so this is quite nice. So I can give you at least 7 minutes or so for this, or 7 or 8 minutes. It's quite nice. So the idea will be that we are looking at structure and organization, okay, because good academic writing and thinking and systemic process for writing is step by step. So this is actually something that we need to practice and just make sure that this is a clear process for you. So sometimes we need to look at things in a different way to plan our ideas, because what you're trying to say might not be clear to other people because of the way you think about the idea. Don't think that other people have your experience, okay? So this is important. Don't think other people have your experience. Other people will read things in a different way to you. This is important to understand. So a lot of times when people do academic writing or for school and assignments, they write like they expect everyone else to have their experience. Other people will not have your experience. So you need to be doing this in a structure and an organizational way so that you can get your idea across clearly, because other people are not you. You are not other people. So your writing has to be something that's a little bit separate from you. This is why we say try to do it in a formal way, formal writing, okay? So this exercise is going to push you to actually do that, to think about that. So the idea is that you drew a drawing now in a picture format. So you've probably got pens there, I'm hoping. So you've got at least 4 colors, so you can do that. So get the piece of paper and then draw a map about where your daily routine. So this will be the way you work, daily routine, what you do in a normal day, right? At the moment, it might be very small because maybe you don't move around too much. That's okay. that's important information. The reason is that imagine if you had 100 of these maps, then you could see what people are doing in April 2020. What are people doing? So this is actually a way to, this exercise is about how to look at different types of data, different information, and how to write a story, an academic piece about that. So I want to give you a different type of thinking, a different way to think about where you can get ideas and how to translate those ideas into writing, okay? So here's a visual. So try to do a drawing. I'm going to give you, we've got time, Jeff. So after you can just translate that to them, they can have at least 5 or more minutes to do that, maybe.
所以这个练习的话，我们要开始动手画一下，用不同的方式来组织一个表达。那么这个表达呢，就是现在的题目是日常生活的地图。在疫情的环境当中，可能大家的生活环境或是日常的这个生活地图的版图可能会相对比较小啊，大家用这个绘画的方式把这个东西表现出来。
Okay, so you can just do this now for at least 5 minutes. I should give you time to think. And where do you live and what's your daily routine? So Jeff, what's your daily routine looking like these days?
Well, most of the time just stay home and sometimes go to school. Yeah.
So in Helsinki, our daily routine here is also we are at home a lot and go to the shop maybe. So this is actually a picture of what people are doing. I think it's in America. So it's very, very small. So they're just very, very small area that they're working in. So I'm putting in different examples of what's happening around the world. If I had a dog, I could walk the dog, but I don't have a dog, so. I really like some of the symbols. That's really good. So let me know when people start actually getting some plans up. This will take a little bit of time. So just putting up here. So how are people going there? Any responses yet?
Not seeing yet. 如果说大家画完之后可以放到我们的微信群里面。
Don't make it too complicated. You can just keep it quite simple.
可以直接的，或者是那个上传到那个 chat 的这个 group。这是要手画的，可能是。不只是用2个数字来表现了，不是用这个来表现，就是要画一张这个它表现的这张图，日常的地图。
Okay. So we think how are they going, Jeff? Any responses yet? They're drawing whole maps of the city, are they?
because this drawing pretty complicated, so
Yeah.
it may take some time, but it's not needs to like that level of detail.
No, it doesn't need to be that level.
Yeah.
That was just an example. It's mostly the streets and the directions that you're looking at. The arrows and the writing is the most important thing. But we have some time, so they're allowed to have a little bit of fun and draw something they really like. Let's give them a little bit more time.
Just draw in.
But this exercise should take a little bit more time than other exercises, but not as much as it's okay. Don't try to be too artistic. It's fine. And then I'm going to ask some questions about, I'm just going to ask you some questions and ask people some questions about what they think their plan is made of. Okay, so any responses yet? They're drawing some incredibly complicated things, I think. I'll give you a few more minutes and then I'll move on to the next part, the next question. I'm just checking the time, Jeff. It's like, oh, it's good. Good time.
There's one file, but I cannot open. Jeffrey, try the one.
Yeah, you want to have a look?
Still
Have a look.
not loaded.
I clicked it, but it doesn't work.
Okay, there's one file.
Doesn't work. Yeah, put it in the WeChat. 谢欧文,
Oh, in the WeChat.
Yeah, if you can put it in the WeChat, it would be great. Yeah, I cannot open it after I download it.
This is wonderful teaching. We're using everything possible. I hope you all appreciate how special this time is for learning. It's a really important, interesting time. So you will not forget this kind of learning. It's really amazing.
I think this is one student's drawed. It's quite nice with the river. It has a home. Obvious, that's kind of apartment building,
Yeah.
police office, and supermarket. I think, yeah, supermarket and something.
Okay. So my question to everybody, have a think now, and I want you to just quickly write up. This is my question to you all. So you've got your map now. So what do you think in terms of keywords? And try to use like a green pen for like the science, a science keyword, a keyword from science space, which is biology. You know, it's the foundation ones, you know, the foundational sort of key things that we have, the biology, chemistry, physics, and ecology and those kinds of ideas. So what keyword can you get from your picture, your own picture, for science, and then arts, and then systems design, and then engineering. So engineering, remember, is all sorts of things like electricity, buildings, roads. These can also come under engineering. Why I'm asking you to do this, I want you to sort of translate from a picture and start with keywords and use those keywords to then think of some words that you can use and then build your sentences out of that. So that's how you actually do a structure, all right? So that's important, doing that step-by-step process. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, a few minutes to think of the keywords from your picture, your own picture. So Jeff, can it just explain that? And we'll see if we get some keywords up on the WeChat.
所以我们从你刚才画的这张图里面，再从4个维度去找到一些关键词，然后再去叙述你这张图。所以用一个框架或者是一个结构去重新组织你的这个表达。如果大家没有完成你刚才那张图片的话，甚至于就在你的脑洞里面。你也可以现在用4个关键词去描述或者是4个不同的这个维度的关键词去描述你的这样的一个场景吧。对，这个其实就是在组织我们的这样的结构，从结构上来组织我们的这样的一个语句。
This is very nice. I've got a really nice picture here.
Yeah.
That's the one. Very nice. So this is a keyword. So this one would perhaps have like a river. So you would have engineering because you've got water. You would perhaps have a keyword like waterworks or canal, or you have shipping and things like that. So you could have some keywords like that. So 1 or 2 keywords. That's all right. So the idea is to look at your picture and think of keywords so that we're playing the game of drawing things and then reversing the ideas out of the drawing. So we create the drawing, but then we pull out of it keywords so that you learn how to go backwards and forwards so that you understand how to build your ideas and then get them into basic sentence for academic writing. Okay, so have we got any keywords up? Maybe not. So any words there, Jeff, or I can't see any yet. Not in the chat group.
No, not yet.
No. I think they're still drawing. So we'll be moving on to section 6 soon. So just quickly put up what you can. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move now. So people obviously want to keep their information to themselves. That's okay. that's quite normal. All right, so going on. So section 5, this was the section 5 for structure and organization. And if you remembered, section 5 was about making people understand me. So the structure and organization. So that's very important. So now this is here, this is the map, and here we have some living plants. So looking at the key words, living plants, streets, street sign sculptor, you know, this, I'll give you maybe just a few more minutes, just maybe 1 or 2 minutes to help you try to get some keywords from your picture. What do you think? So, for example, green pen, which is science, might be living plants because it's biology. Pink pen might be streets because streets can also be, whilst they can also be engineering, they can also be systems design, can be streets because it's the way things come together, connecting. Signs or garden sculptures could be orange, which is art, and buildings could be blue pen, which is engineering. So here is just example of some keywords from your drawing, for example. So I was using this one, but you have your own drawing. So I just want to give you a few more minutes just to see if you can really try to put some keywords together in our 4 pen colors of science and design, arts and engineering. Okay? Because it does push you, but it helps you to understand how to play with information and data, and then be a better writer because you understand how to structure your work. So a few more minutes for that. Unless, Jeff, you want to say something?
No, I think it's good. It's clear.
Yeah.
So from the drawings, we draw several different keywords. I think now it's actually much clearer when we first see the image, because the image is a little bit small. Now if we look at the keywords, it's actually coming up more visually, but in a different way, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Because your science will always use all sorts of data, and some important data will not be so clear. You have to work hard to make it clear. That's the point. We never know what it will be like. Okay, so I'm just going to move on now. So you should have your keywords now, these kinds of keywords. So that should be okay for people. All right. So moving on. So section 6, we are looking at, you and I don't talk about things in the same way. So let's talk about citing. So we don't talk about things in the same way. Everybody has a different way of expressing themselves. Everybody has a different process. So as we can see with, you know, with our science and our design and our arts and our engineering, see, these people all can speak about the same topic, but in a different way. They will all have a different way of speaking, and they'll have a different way of writing as well. So we do not write in the same way. We cannot, because we are trained and we have different thinking and different experiences. So this is really important, that we understand that there are different ways of doing that. So this also means that when you do an academic writing, we have to do it in a step-by-step way, so that we can make it clear to other people what we mean and what we are trying to say. So this is very important. So we definitely don't look at the ideas in the same way. As you can see from your different codes that you came up with the duck, so many different codes for the same sentence, right? So if Jeff wants to just quickly emphasize that.
Okay, so I think it's clear. 就是讲说话的这种风格，因为每个人讲话的方式不一样，或是我们刚才说那个 coding 的 system，coding 的 sequence 表现方式，当然有一定的语法，但是你组织的这个话术的不同，那么对于个性的表达，那也是这个非常不一样的，所以这个叫所谓的风格啊，我们的方式的叙述的方式也是不一样。I think it's clear. Yeah?
It's clear, right? Okay, so the exercise for this one should be quite fun. This is so we don't talk in the same way. So using your drawing of your daily routine, using all your keywords from session 5. So we just did that, right? Now do a short paragraph again. But so this is what I want you to do. So using your drawing from your daily routine, write a short paragraph, about 4 sentences. So about 4 sentences. So just about that, using your keywords. Okay, so if you didn't think of some keywords, now I'm going to give you at least 8 minutes or so, or maybe 10, between 8 and 10 minutes, to really write down 4 good sentences which are precise. And then I'd like everyone to try to put it up, and so we can have a look at them. So do try to share them, please, and put up your 4 key sentences that you did about your drawing, using your keywords that you just did, right? So start with the keywords and then do the 4 sentences about your drawing. And then when you finish that, you can do a short paragraph again, but only use the symbols. See if you can translate your own work. But just, it's fine. I would just prefer that if you don't have time, just to try to do the 4 sentences or even 5 sentences about your daily routine. But start with your keywords and then you can build up on that. Have a go. And then we'll share them. Can we share them in the WeChat, in the Zoom chat group, Jeff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're just going to sit here for a few minutes. Oops, sorry. And if people are having trouble, I'm just going to go through and find. So just be clear with your topic, have structure. Just to remind you. Don't do too many words. Just try to be clear, to remember that. So these 3 are important for your sentence. So has anybody got any sentences up yet, Jeff?
I think that we just use the symbol to represent.
Okay.
You use some symbols to represent, but also you also need something in text.
In text. Charles wrote something.
Charles wrote, kind of draw something. Charles draw something, but if you can explain to us what kind of 4 sentence you are using. What kind of
please explain, because I mean some of them are very clever, but I'd like the explanation. That would be great.
This you know, this whole thing actually we designed to younger writers. Okay, so it shouldn't be that hard. Just draw very simple. The drawing we had very nice, and just need a simple, just using some very simple way to explain. Don't think very in deep, too much in theoretic. Just simple. Whatever.
It's your drawing that you did.
Yeah,
so
whatever. Just
your drawing.
Like a child. It's the purpose. We're writing like a child, but we have the strong kind of logic behind.
So right, it's your story. You are doing it. So it's about you and your story. The one you just drew, right? So it's your drawing. So it's just this one. It's just this one, and we're just doing just your little story about your drawing. That's all. Don't worry about how it looks. Just try to do a little story about your drawing. We're going to have a go now. This is us just trying it out. So it's you might say you might talk about, if the weather is nice, I will go for a walk along the street where I usually do shopping, or just try to put some sentences together to see how you describe your map, how you would, why did you draw the map the way you did? So just try to do some really basic, interesting things that you want to say about your own drawing. Okay, Tim did one. And Sean did one. That's quite nice. They like doing the symbols, Jeff. They like the symbols.
Yeah, they like symbols. They don't like
the writing.
Normal language.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think we've got a lot of engineers coming. I think we have lots of technical engineers. They love symbols. I think these are going to be computer scientists. Okay, so that's interesting. They love the symbols. Okay. Well, for those people who didn't want to do a sentence, and if you've got more time, can you give me some keywords about your symbols? I'd really like to have some keywords about your symbols. Can you give me some? For example, Sean, you've got a really nice symbol there. Can you give me like 1 or 2 keywords about the symbols? Is that possible? Sean 12?
Downstairs, upstairs, sleeping, working.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, really? That's really nice. That's very nice. I really like that. Thank you, Jin. Ji, is it Shen?
春节，节称。
Can you guess what I'm talking about? Yes. Can anyone guess what Sean 12 is talking about? This is good. So this is exactly kind of like trying to get people to think about their ideas and how to show other people different ways of thinking and what you mean. So like I said, sometimes we don't all speak the same language. We don't always see things the same way. Sometimes we see things differently. So I think people love using symbols. Okay, there's freedom in my picture. That's beautiful. Thank you. That's a lovely comment. freedom in the picture, upstairs, downstairs, sleeping, working. Yeah. Okay. This is a really interesting theme. Thank you. That's really good. All right. So I think that's an interesting process we just went through. Thank you for those people interacting. A little bit of interaction there. I hope other people have written some things down. Yeah, exactly. At Sean, I think that says a lot for a lot of people, including me. So yes, I think that's true. Water cycle economic system. Beautiful. That's interesting. How can we put that? Okay.
Okay, this algorithm is very hard. I cannot read anymore.
Wow, this last one, the last one
is very complicated.
Very complicated.
What do you try to say? Please write in Chinese or English.
Please put in Chinese or English some keywords to give us a clue. Try to give us a clue because this is very complicated. It's got the same thing. It repeats it. It goes, there's a star, dot, star, dot. So it's got a pattern recognition there. All right. Do try to give us some clues about that. All right. If you're going to do that, you have to give people a clue. If you're going to use the symbols, then you have to give some keywords. All right. That's fair. Okay. Obviously, people love the symbols and using symbology. That's very interesting. All right. And so finally, we've got session 7. I'm going to move on. There's some really, okay, very close. Okay, they're having a conversation there. It's very close. They have their own symbols going. That's very good. That's very good. All right. So session 7, how do I share ideas? Well, we're doing it here in the chat group, actually. You can see how the chat group is working and how it's actually got some ideas going there. So how do I share ideas? So this is getting very technical in terms of academic writing, but it still has basic principles to share your ideas. And it's about, here it's strengths and claims. So for example, this, you know, the symbols is fine, but if you don't share the qualification of the keywords or something, then we can't be sure if it's true or not. So this is about being true or not. Oh, this is very nice. Jeff, would you like to share, just do the translation for the Chinese?
I think the translation is okay. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone can, you know, need any explanation from me, can just add to me. But I think all this translation are okay.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, so where did your ideas come from? Are they your ideas or are they somebody else's ideas? So this is a discussion and an exercise. Exercises about where ideas come from, being careful and clear, and we write about the ideas, about other people's ideas. So this is all about being very careful about where your ideas come from and how to read ideas for anybody else. So, for example, if I were to look at Sean 12 or look at other people's comments from the chat group, I could interpret. I could say, I think Sean 12 means this. But if I don't make it clear with Sean 12 what it means, then I can't be certain if my claim is true. Is it true or not? So I need to be very, very clear about what I can see, for example, in the chat group, or what is meant. What did he mean? What do they mean? So this is extremely important, because I could sort of say, I think it's this, and I could write a lot of things, but it's not clear. Okay, so this is actually very important, that we're super clear about what the other person or the other idea really means. What does that actually really mean? So this is all about strengths and claims and looking at that side of things. Okay, we've got some more conversations going on here. So section 7, exercise 7, is where did your ideas come from? So you need to match the following academic journals. So these are academic journals. These are names of journals. So a journal is where scientists and academic people and put their work and other people can read it. So this is their journal work, and these are different ones. Like this one, for example, is I have different ones here. The image, information, medium, machine and human, sustainability, buildings, photography, farm living. So these are actual journals. And what I want you to do is using the different science and the design, arts and engineering, I would like you to tell me what, with the 4 colors, and this is, it seems really simple, but it's not so straightforward. These are the 4 colors, of course. They represent, you know what they represent. So each journal, I want you to tell me which color those journals represent. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 journals. And then I want you to match the colors that we've been using, the science and design, arts and engineering colors. Try to match which discipline, which thinking goes with which journal here. So an image, the information and medium and society, machines and human, sustainability, buildings, photography, farm art. Which of those colors match those journals? So it's quite simple. Just write up the journal and then put down which colors you think match the journal. So if that's clear, Jeff, or do you need to explain?
那么接下来这个练习呢，就是用我们不同的4种颜色去，你想象当中的这个不同的，我们说的文献吧，就是我们要写 paper， 最后你都要发到这些相关联的文献杂志上面。那么这些杂志，你觉得从这些名字上面怎么用不同的颜色去表现？比方说我举一个例子吧，有些那个已经开始互动了，建筑。Buildings, because I'm an architect. So what I understanding will be art. Of course, you have to draw beautiful architecture. It's history as well, historical, moments as well. And also you need the system design, because it's not just a simple piece of a brick. You have to put all this, plumbing, water inside of the whole building. And also you need to think about the engineering.
Yep.
Engineering is how you construct how you construct the whole building from bottom up. So to me, it's pink, orange, and blue.
Yes. So that's about it. I would say so. So we can go through each one. I mean, I think people can have a minute or two, but I think, for example, Ji-Chen has said the orange is the image. Photography is pink, engineering, machines and human buildings. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that effort and putting that information up. Thank you. The image is actually, the image is arts, true, but you could also have, image can be science, because biological drawings and the different types of ways you show visual data and information can be the image. So the image actually can be all 4. Actually, it can be, the image can be arts, The image can be systems design because of the different types of things that need to be shown. So you can do like X-ray images. So that journal actually has a huge range of things in it. It has all 4 colors actually, the image. So it's a bit of a tricky one because it seems like, oh, well, the image should be artistic or photography. True. But then photography is also chemistry based. And so you do have other sciences in there as well. So the image actually turns out that it's all 4. Yeah, thank you. So you've said that, but thank you, that's good. Pink is photography, yeah. Photography is pink, it is arts. Photography, that is predominantly an art, that's mostly an art journal, and that's true. That one is mostly art, but there are other, you could make the argument that photography can cover all 4 again, because you can use photography to do the scientific imagery. You can take photos for science. You can definitely take photos for architecture and buildings and engineering. So the photography covers, again, nearly all 4, just so you know. Information medium and society is a little bit more narrow. Information medium society, systems design. Yes, there's a lot of systems design in that one. Yes, that's correct. Information medium and society has a lot of systems information and a little bit of engineering as well. And yes, I would say they're the predominant ones. People from mostly systems design and some forms of engineering do the information medium society. That's true. So machines and humans. Machines and humans, you've said, is engineering. Yes. And it's a really specific kind of machines and humans. Jeff, would you say that Fab Lab is about machines and humans, for example?
Right. Fab Labs, of course, we have a lot of techniques and a lot of machines that runs the ideas, putting the ideas into the reality. So it's a good combination from art and engineering. And also, it's also a system because we have so many different labs around the world. So, how you organize that, how you play the data from Shanghai to Boston, send the data transfer the data from Boston to Barcelona. So all these things are behind. So this is a whole system that runs the labs.
So actually you could say that all 4 are there, aren't they?
I think so, yes.
I think so. So again, although machine and human it seems just engineering, be careful, not getting your perception or your idea of it is not always so clear. And it seems that machine and humans can be all 4 because of the way machines and humans interact. Yes, there's mostly one emphasis, but it actually covers all. So interesting. And so sustainability, in English we say sustainability, but it also means just the ability to sustain. So sustainability is, now somebody wrote down sustainability. Okay, they've just written sustainability. Can be seen as engineering, but also sciences because of the biological. I mean, it's really the living world, sustainability, and some engineering. So maybe quite a lot of sciences, hard sciences, as they say, physics, chemistry, biology, is all sustainability. Also, some systems design sits in sustainability, as does some types of engineering. So that's an interesting one that has 3. Okay, So, and as Jeff already said about buildings, he already talked about buildings, so many different aspects in buildings. And photography, we already discussed about photography. And the final one is farm living. So what do we imagine farm living is? There can be biology, ecology, chemistry, buildings, systems, those, and so these, that's a lot, maybe I would say perhaps those three, mostly those three. So, but there is some creativity involved as well. So to be creative in terms of the way in which you organize things. So that's actually just to give you some idea about the different types of ways of looking where your information might come, but also where you want to share your information. Where do you want to put your information? Where do you want to put for other people to read? This is just a short exercise to show you that it's not always as straightforward or simple as you imagine. You can be a bit creative in terms when you look at these different types of topics. So this is just a little bit of an example of how to do that. So, and finally, we have session 8, which is about how do I share other people's ideas. So remember we talked about looking at different people's ideas and how we think about other people's ideas. So how do we share other people's ideas? So being fair, it is really, really about being fair. We really must be fair with other people. So it is about making sure that we say what is real and what do people try to express. And also saying if somebody has an idea, that we tell the truth about their idea, that it's not my idea, it was your idea, and you make sure that you say that. Now, why is that important? Well, if we don't understand how to be fair and share other ideas, for example, the story that came from was a short story from City Sciences, but it was shared. This story about the Greek geese was the City Science one, but shared by the Guardian newspaper. So you need to be clear about where your information came from. So this is about where did the information come from. That's really, really important. So I really want to make sure that people can understand where their information came from. So when you're writing up, this is one of the critical things about where did I come from? Where did I get the information from? So in your handouts, Jeff, did they get the handouts? I mean, I sent there was a definition page, yeah?
Yeah.
So in that definition page, you can look at the definition page and you can see there, and it's called the word, I think it's citations. Is that citations?
Citation.
Yeah,
yes.
That's citation. So this word here in Chinese, citation, you have that on your handout, and it's called citation data. So when you're doing academic writing, you need to sort of say where it came from. That's a really critical thing. Otherwise, it's not really academic writing. It's more of storytelling. All right, so this is the one thing that really makes the difference between what is academic writing and what is storytelling or reporting. So sometimes you can report something, but you don't talk about where the information came from. So academic writing requires, it must have citation. That's the only way to do academic writing. So here in section 8, I'm just talking about, here's my example. All right, so this is kind of mine. I want you to go now to your story that you wrote about your map, your plan, your drawing, and I want you to try to design your own citation for that drawing that you did for your street plan. Okay, so, and if you do that very quickly, you can make up some other citations as well. So, but I want you to try at least this one. And then Jeff, we will be finished. This was the last almost, and then I have a quick review. But I want you to just do this exercise first. Have a look at my daily routine in Helsinki. For example, that would be maybe the name, or you might want to give it a different name. You might say, my life in Shanghai, or these times in lockdown, or some name like this. But it's your work, so you may put down the citation. So have a go, and could you please write them up here in the chat room, so we could have at least a look at one or two or a few different examples. That would be really nice if people could just do a few different examples. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. Just a few, so you don't need too many, but because you have a good example here to follow. So it shouldn't be too hard. And then I'd like to see at least one or two in the chat room, if that's possible. So Jeff, you can do one. You can do one about
Yeah, I think that they have some very interesting questions.
Okay.
Also,
I can hear the questions coming through. Beep, beep. Okay, that's nice. That's Jeff's version. So that's the citation, everybody. If you look in the chat, in the Zoom chat group, you can see an example of a citation. So that is what you can use in terms of, there are many different citations that you can look. If you look in the your handout, in the handout, it's got 3 different ones of the same version, right? One says Chicago. Chicago is one of the more typical citations that people use. So that's a really typical citation, Chicago. It's got the name Chicago on it. So that's a really basic one that people can use. So now you have the fundamental key elements of how to kick off your thinking about how to start and where to think and what are the key points. So while you're doing your academic citation example there, okay, there, that's it. So Chicago's the last one. Okay, that's the Chicago. So MLA, APA, and Chicago are the name, the styles. Remember I talked about the type of way you can do it? So there's different ways. So you choose one that you're supposed to use. You can choose one. So the last one, that's a type of style. Okay, it gets very complex, academic writing, but I'm just giving you the very basic how to start the process. Okay, you have to start somewhere, so that's what you would do. Okay, so the final one is a thank you. 谢谢. Thank you for listening. 谢谢. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking part. I really appreciate you coming to listen, especially in this very special time. I'm very happy to be able to talk to people in China. I'm here in Helsinki. I can't come back, so I'm very happy to talk to you. So that's very nice for me. Remember that, you know, writing your ideas and writing and how to develop it is a very much a step-by-step process. So it's a step-by-step process. Try not to just start writing lots and lots of things. If you get stuck, if you really get stuck and you don't know how to start the process, remember to ask a question. Ask the question, what is it that I want to tell? What's the story I want to tell someone? What is it that I'm trying to do? Very basic question. Try to put some questions down and then you can build your question up. You know, first 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 sentences or 5 sentences, step by step, build it, grow it, grow it, grow it. And remember that every time you grow something, they have to link, okay? So that you can read it and it's a whole story. It's a whole story. So this is very important. Okay, so I want you to remember that sharing ideas with writing is it's really like magic. When you get it, it's really, really, really like magic. It's amazing. People can read a really good story, or a really good academic writing can be so interesting. So don't think of it always just as work and just study. No, sometimes it can be really interesting to share. So I want you to have some happiness and joy about this kind of work too, because it's something that you will need to do for a number of years, I think. So this is my contribution to you. I hope you can really enjoy your process for learning. And if you have lots of questions or that, well, I'm ready now to talk about questions, Jeff. So if you want to give me some questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
Okay, yeah, I think it's great talk, and I think it's almost like 10 past 9. So if you guys continue to have any questions, put in the chat group, and I would just do very quick kind of summarize. Thanks for Susu's time. And although she's very far away in Helsinki, but he's super closely connected to Fab Lab. So tonight we try to show all these little young writers, leading them into the academic world. Because in the future, if you want to really jump into the academic world, you need to write. You need to write every day. No matter how serious the writing will be, but for the academic part, you do need a system that help you to understand what's the academic and serious writing. And Susu put a very clear structure, and show us step by step. Although it's a little bit difficult, over the distance, but also. I think it will be fun, next time if we all gather in Shanghai or Beijing or somewhere, and we can continue do this. And also, this is the first time actually I assist Susu to do this workshop. We did many other things, but this time is the first time I actually went through with all of you, and also tried to help. But maybe it's now more clear about what she wanted to do. So the next time I can help her, assist her in a better way. We should also organize, because the coronavirus is giving us a new chance, actual opportunity. In the future, maybe we're using the online platform more often, to reach many people outside of the limited boundary or limited geographical locations. So I think it would be great so we continue using online platform and organize a better way of communication, because we have some other tools to help. We can use the sticker notes, we can use the easy write. Once I'm understanding more about what her content is about and the sequence is about. So, and also thanks a lot of people joining us to do the interactive, although it's hard, but I think we achieved a lot. So if you do have any question, please leave in the chat group. Okay. Is anyone has the questions? And we also have the WeChat group. So if you have a further question, if you wanted to know what's the following kind of contents we might offer, because we do do a lot of more things with Susu, and give a lot of good contents to many parents and the kids and even the college students. So we will prepare. So let us know what you need, and we will prepare. We will put in the resource for all of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we can do future topics, many different other topics we could do. So this was just about writing, but which you need, but we have many other topics planned. So.
And the research and a lot of system design, and I think that is also very good topics to discuss, to share. 有问题的话，我们可以继续讨论。我再用中文稍微的简单的这个复述一下吧，因为今天呢，本来的目的是给我们说的是中学生、高中生他们在做研究性课题的过程当中，因为要写文章，很多人来问我这个写所谓的这个论文文献到底是怎么来写的啊？听上去非常的这个严肃，这件事情非常的学术，所以呢，我就跟苏苏来讨论这个事儿。他是在我们这里的博导，他也是在很多其他的这个赫尔辛基Aalto University， 还有在澳大利亚很多大学，在泰国都担任过不同的学校的这个教授的职位。那么到这呢，我们因为他本人他是从芬兰出来的，所以芬兰的教育的创新，就给了这个整个的这个一种非常有趣的这种教学的方法，所以我们也跟芬兰的很多的教授一起在探索，怎么把这样的一些系统给到我们的老师，给到我们的学生，尤其是在 K12的教学当中，包含了就是我们一起讨论了很多还有另外一个可能你们在未来也会认识，都是从芬兰来的。这个 Tina， 那么也是在黄埔高中一起做教研的老师，所以我们都是在一起讨论更多的系统的设计为 STEAM 教育。今天这个呢是我第一次跟他过这么一个环节他还是组织的非常的棒的，但是确实我是第一次真正了解从前到后他的讲的一个顺序和他的这个组织的结构，所以我也没有想到要帮他去配合他，那么可能在某些部分上面还缺练习确实没有跟他那个做练习但是我们的互动还是非常的到位也谢谢大家，应该是第一次做这样的一个 topic， 那我从其中呢也得到了很多的心得，所以呢下次的话我们再做这样的系列的话，我就知道怎么去辅助它。其实非常有意思，它用非常简单的这种用一些颜色，用一些这个标题标签来这个分类，然后通过几个不同的这个步骤，一点点的反复的在讲这里面的一些原理所以我今天也是这个收获到了很多，所以我希望大家可以就是给我们再有些回馈，那么把这样的工作坊可以以后再做得更加有趣一点。现在我其实也收获很多，所以我们也会把我们很多其他的，包括我们 FabLab 本身的一些经典的片段我们也这个通过一些系列把它呈现出来。下一次我觉得design thinking 也可以作为一个很好的 topic， 就用一两堂课很快的很简单的跟大家去做一个交流这样的话，一个是把我们的一些核心的东西呈现给大家，还有一个也是从这个你们的 这样的一种对话当中，我们能够获取更多的一些回馈，那么可以给到那个 STEAM 教育，给到更多的这些实践。Okay, so that's great talk. I think also great timing. Thanks for your time.
I know it's very late there, so you know.
Yeah, thanks for your time, and we really miss you. And stay safe, and hopefully.
Stay well, everybody. And I miss you. I miss you all days. So you know.
Yeah. So yeah, we would hopefully to see you again in Shanghai soon.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks for everyone, and we hope to see you next time during our events on the open night. Bye bye.
Bye bye. 再见. Bye bye, everyone.